Hello and welcome to the Saka Punch, the podcast where it dives into everything Arsenal. I'm Luke Anthony and I'm joined by award-winning comedian Sydney May.
Thank you.
I don't know where to start with this. I mean, Arsenal lose 1-0 to Liverpool. We had a good first half and all the pundits were saying that it was going to be a case of Arsenal need to press on now and we'll get... And Arsenal look like they're going to be... It's in their favour, they're going to get a result. And then from 65 minutes, it was all Liverpool.
Yeah, they found their way into it, didn't they?
I mean, early on, Martinelli had an opportunity, about 9 minutes, had an opportunity to put Gyökeres in, but didn't take his opportunity. I mean, I don't want this to become the Martinelli hate show, but there were a few decisions he made where he is running down the byline, and I don't know if he can win here because he sort of ran down and then chose to play a pass instead of running down to the line. Now I don't know if he can win because I've complained about him running too far and then not passing, but this time he actually passed and it was a misplaced pass.
Yeah, it's like you say, you can't really win in that situation, can he? Not with us, anyway. Yeah, we should try not to become the Martinelli hatred show, but he's kind of proven me right at the moment, isn't he? Has your friend forgiven me for saying it the first time yet?
I haven't checked yet. But I'll look into that and I'll let you know.
Yeah, well, I feel like my initial comments were he's justifying them at the moment, but I wish he wasn't. I'm not. This is one thing I didn't want to be right about. If there's anything you don't want to be right about, it was this.
So what's your take on the game then, from what you experienced from it?
I mean, it was hardly shameful. I think everybody panics, don't they? Everyone's like, "Oh, Arsenal lost. Here we go." Like we were so in the game. The goal was a moment of brilliance, you have to say. Um, I don't think we should be panicking, and I don't think, I know we said before, it is a big game in terms of hopefully when there's a title race, but it's also so early. We played them away. We can beat them at home. I didn't, yeah, like I say, I didn't think it was a shameful performance at all. I mean, the only thing we should be worried, we lost Saliba as well. That wasn't good.
Yes,
Hopefully
that's
that's
a
not,
bad moment.
yeah. I think we missed Saka.
That's a really good point actually about Saliba because that's going to be a big hit. And Mascara looked quite nervous when he first came on.
Well, he was kind of thrown into it, wasn't he?
Yeah, but he did grow into the game, and I think he played quite well. He had a few nervy passes he played.
Yeah,
Put Raya in danger a couple of times, but I thought Calafiori had a good game. I thought he
he
held
did.
off. He sort of took Mo Salah out of the game altogether, didn't he?
And also had a few shots himself, as he does.
Yeah. If it wasn't for the moment of brilliance, we would have got a draw. Are
Yeah,
we? If going into the game, would you have taken a draw at Anfield?
I think so. Yeah, I think I would have done. But I was watching it at the pub with some mates yesterday, and we said the game needed a goal. Like if Liverpool had scored earlier, I think we would have got back into it. Like we did go for it after they scored, but it was too late in the game, and I felt, so often with when it's 0-0 like that, is both teams are neither team wants to lose it, and it felt like nobody wanted to lose it, so nobody was risking losing it, and it just felt a little like one of those games that's a little bit too respectful of each other. And I think if someone had scored earlier on, I think it would have been a better contest. That's the way I see it. So if Liverpool scored in the first half, we'd have gone out all guns blazing. Which, my argument with that is we should have been doing that anyway, shouldn't we?
Yeah, and that brings us on to a good point. Is that before the game, I was thinking about my preferred 11, and for me, I I'd have gone for it and played Eze because if you think about it, we didn't do it. We didn't win the game anyway. We lost the game.
Hmm.
So in when you look at it retrospectively, you think, well, you might as well have just put Eze on and played a more of an attacking game
Yeah,
because
gone for it.
otherwise, what happened was you had Mourinho and we'll play at Mourinho and we're basically three holding midfielders in the
Mm,
middle I mean, we controlled the game in the first half, and I'm not saying we didn't, but for
no, we
me,
did.
I just think Eze would have opened things up, and he looked a bit lively when he came on.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
He did. He went for it, didn't he? I mean, that was the time he really needed to. Um,
yeah, obviously he didn't have enough time to have an impact on the game
no,
like he should have done. But Max Dowman, I was hoping he was going to come on and get us another penalty, but
me too.
I, I'll refrain from slating him because I thought he looked lively. He had few good runs, but he did sort of get caught out a couple of times in
Mm,
possession where he just ran into nowhere and didn't get past his
mm.
man.
But we've put a 15-year-old against a Premier League winning team. I think we can forgive him this
Yeah,
time.
definitely. Yeah, I mean he's in a good place because the
Yeah.
expectation on him has been put on him that is quite high, but at the same time, you can't just say, "Well, I'm 15," so.
Yeah. You have to forgive him mistakes. He will make mistakes. And I think at this point, yeah, like you say, he's 15 playing against grown men. He will make mistakes. He does have clearly his moments of brilliance, and we should be excited about him. But like you say, he's in quite a good position because we will, well, I hope most people would forgive him for mistakes. He's got a lot to learn, hasn't he?
What did you think to Madueke down the right then?
He was having a good old go, wasn't he?
Yeah, he really tore them up a little bit. I did
Yeah.
notice one thing about him that do you know what foot he uses? Because he didn't go onto his left foot. You know how Saka cuts inside
Mm,
with his left foot and then crosses it in or gets a shot
mm,
away. He kept trying to get onto his right foot and going down the right side of it right side of his
yeah.
man rather than cutting inside on his left foot. I
Right.
I
So is
just
he
thought as an
right-footed, you
observation
reckon?
really that
Mm.
that's the one thing that Saka does brilliantly is cuts inside and then gets a shot away on his left foot.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that is a difference. I did feel that we missed Saka yesterday. Um, we had a few corners, and we've been so good at scoring from corners, and it didn't happen yesterday. And that was a bit. And I just felt like with those corners, we really missed Saka in there.
Yeah, yeah, the corners were a little bit lackluster, weren't they? Because
They were.
um, Rice usually does the left side corner, doesn't he? Where he cuts it
Mm,
in swingers, but the out swinger just wasn't working for us, and they kept defending them and defending them and defending them.
yeah.
Um, and then we just couldn't. I mean, before the game, Marnie Slot, they asked him a question. They asked if he'd been practicing, especially against to cope against Arsenal's corners, and he said no more than any other team, but they definitely drilled it. They definitely
Yeah.
drilled it because they defended that really well,
He's
and
gonna
that
say that, isn't he? So he doesn't sound afraid of us. But yeah,
yeah.
he must have been drilling that.
One of the things that I noticed in the game was that Kanate and the rest of the defence for Liverpool had a blinder. We could
Mm,
not get through them,
no, they
and
really did.
they started the season really badly, and they've let a few goals in. But this time
Mm,
they pulled a blinder on us.
but maybe that's what they've been doing. You know, like you say, they have let in some goals already, and maybe Slot's been like, look, we've got to sort this out. You're not gonna maintain a title with those mistakes. And whatever he's done in the last week, it worked, didn't it? You can't deny it. It worked.
So what do you think about the way we play then? Because we played quite slow football, a lot of back passes
Mm,
to Raya,
I
a
hate
lot
it.
of backwards passes in the game. You know, between the defenders or
Mm,
we could go forward and then we play it back and restart the attack again.
yeah.
It
I
just uninspiring, wasn't it?
I personally, I just hate too many back passes, too much playing backwards or just sideways. I mean, it played into Liverpool's hands because all the time, playing out from the back, all the time that it's at the back, it's too near our goal. So they can slip in and catch us out. I think, I much prefer it when the keeper just hoofs it up the field and goes from there. I'm never comfortable with this little playing out from the back and passing it back to all the time you're passing it back to Raya, you're not going for their goal, are you? You're passing it to ours. I mean, I don't know. What do you feel about it?
I mean, I quite like I like possession football in the sense that but when a couple of seasons ago we played Bayern Munich in the Champions
Mm,
League, and I think the first leg we drew against them, but they got two goals, and their goals were really quick goals.
yeah.
The way the rate at which they get the ball forward, even if they're not
Mm,
long balling it, they just pass it forward, and
yeah.
they
Just a lot faster.
get the player into space, and they just go and attack. That's how Arsenal used to play. We'd be able to
Mm,
catch the teams on the break and score brilliant goals, you know.
yeah.
And under Wenger, that's how he played, you know, is
And we
is
have played
beautiful
that way
football.
with Arteta as well. I don't really, we haven't done a lot of this back passing and that kind of thing in recent seasons. We have been playing faster football. I don't know why we wouldn't, unless they were just being too careful because it was Liverpool. I don't
Too
know. What do you think?
respectful, but I mean, it
Yeah.
didn't work, did it? It backfired, you know.
No.
Um, it didn't work out the way it should have done. Well, what was he hoping for? I mean, we had nothing
Exactly.
that game in the sense that if our set pieces weren't working, then we didn't look like we were going to get a goal out in open play.
No.
So our set pieces just were off.
Do you think the set pieces were off because of things like new people, a new team, new people still trying to get used to each other?
I don't think so. I think it was just poor delivery from Rice and good defending
Mm,
from Liverpool,
yeah.
personally.
Which is not like Rice, but like you say,
No,
Liverpool were we have to hand it to Liverpool. They kept us out. We didn't play our best, but also I think as much as I hate to say it, we do have to give Liverpool some credit. Yeah, it's painful, isn't it?
I said in the last podcast that whoever wins this game wins the league, but I want to backtrack that
Me too.
I really
Predictably.
because for me now I'm like, well, if Liverpool going to win it, they've just got Isak, which is a big signing, so maybe they will win it, but I need some level of hope for the rest of the season that
Absolutely.
as long as we get wins against the other big teams and we don't
Yeah,
lose stupid games against the smaller teams,
exactly.
then
There's no shame in it. That's my feeling. There's no shame. And they only got one past us. Because that's the other thing that I take from it. It was not a thrashing.
yeah, and it was, and like you said, it was a moment of brilliance. And a
Mm,
friend of mine said to me, "How did Ryan not get to a shot from a free kick from
hmm,
32 yards?" And I was like, "Well,
it was a
it
hell
did
of a
hit the
shot.
post. It was as left as you could possibly get it, and he
Mm,
nearly got there, but he just couldn't quite reach it. I don't think you can
no.
blame Ryan for that, but." He was just a little bit astounded. I think it was just astounded. I just
Mm,
think it was a brilliant
it was a
delivery.
hell of a free kick. You can't defend those. We were all praising Rice for doing it in the Champions League. We weren't saying how did the keeper
Twice,
not get it? Yeah, exactly.
one after the
Yeah,
other.
exactly. And the keeper didn't get that. And we weren't saying, oh, the keeper should have got that. We were saying that was just stunning free kicks. And I think that is it. But I'm still taking hope and positivity about the fact that it was only 1-0. They didn't thrash us. We were pretty evenly matched, which made for not the most exciting game. It wasn't too end to end, was it? We were playing alongside the league winners and we matched them in for so much of the time, other than that one good free kick. I think we can take comfort from that, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, our next game
Hmm.
is not until after the international break. So going into the
Yeah.
international break, we're going into that with a loss. How do you feel about that? Do you think we it's good in a way that we're going into a national break so that we can regain momentum?
We can regroup. Yeah. It's a weekend we don't miss Saka. He can be healing. There's fewer games without him. I feel like that's a positive. Maybe Saliba as well. I haven't heard. They said he twisted his ankles, and maybe it's not too bad. Um, but I haven't heard any more from that after. Have you heard any more on Saliba?
No, I haven't. Um I don't I don't want to sound like I'm depressive or anything, but after a loss, I my consumption of Arsenal content does dip ever so slightly, but I'm saying that I'm grateful to any listeners that have kept with us this far,
Yeah.
because it is hard to take
Yes.
when you take a loss, and especially when you had a really good first
Mm.
half, well, compared to Liverpool, and we looked like we were the ones who were gonna press on and
And
win the
it's almost
game.
more gutting than just being completely trashed in a way, because you're like, oh, we should have, could
We
have.
weren't outplayed.
No, that's what I mean.
We weren't outplayed.
We weren't.
If anything, we outplayed them in the first
We
half, and
did.
then 65 minutes into the game,
Mm.
there was a big uproar from their
Yeah.
fans, and it just seemed to give them
Yeah.
energy.
And that's what they have. That's the home advantage, isn't it? That's what we'll have the second time we play them.
And it was from then
Yeah.
that they started attacking and trying to get a
Yeah, they
result out of
realised
us.
they could go for it. But I think going back to your question about the international break, I personally hate the international break because there's no football. I'm not that patriotic. There's no Arsenal. There's no Arsenal. I'm far more loyal to Arsenal than I am to England. They're far more exciting, I think. I care far more. I don't know about you, but yeah, but I just think it's not great going into a break with a loss, but I think we take it as a regroup. We let injured players keep recuperating, and we go. I'm always worried about other injuries that happen on the international break. We've been stung by that before. So yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a worry, isn't it? You end up watching the game hoping, watching any of the
yeah,
international games, just hoping your players get through unscathed.
exactly. Yeah, I'm not a fan. In most ways, but nothing we can do.
It's not as bad as the Nations League.
Hmm.
It is a qualifier for the World
Yeah,
Cup, so it is something.
yeah,
But it's against Andorra and Serbia, so for England, so we should breeze past Andorra, and we might struggle a little bit to get a goal against Serbia, but
yeah. Well, do you love it? Do you love the England as much as the Arsenal? No,
no, no, I'm all about the Arsenal for
exactly.
me. I like for like the big when it gets to like World Cup
Oh
and
yeah,
Euros and the actual main competition, I watch
yeah,
everything
me too.
and consume it all.
Yeah.
But that's just because I have to go through a whole summer without football if I
Well,
don't watch it.
exactly.
So
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, these little breaks in the season, I kind of hate them. But it is what it is. Like I say, it does mean we have fewer games without Saka because he'll be healing up, won't he? Because he's hopefully only out for a few weeks. Fingers crossed it stays that
yeah,
way.
they've said weeks, haven't they? They haven't said months.
Yeah, he
So
said sort of 3, 4 weeks. That's what I heard after last week's game, after he got injured. So keep our fingers crossed that that is true. I don't care that he's not playing for England. I'd rather he was getting better for Arsenal.
so 1-0 loss to Liverpool. Next game is Forest on the 13th of September. So after the international break.
Yeah, and it's Man City. So big.
Then there's Man City, yeah, but they had a terrible result at the weekend,
Yeah,
didn't they? That was
it was
hilarious.
hilarious. Fingers crossed we can do that. Eh? But Forest are a challenging team as well. You can't write them off, can you?
No, no, you never know with
Mm,
them. You never know with them. You've got to give them some
yeah.
respect.
Oh yeah, you do. But hopefully we'll go for them a bit more than we went for Liverpool. That's my hope.
Yeah. All right. Well, the
Hmm.
disappointing loss against Liverpool, but onwards and
Hmm.
upwards into the international break. Not Forest next. Hopefully we'll go get a win there and regain some confidence, and then go to Man City full of
Hmm.
confidence and get a result there
There's
too.
better times ahead. This is a glitch. Yesterday was a
The
glitch.
season isn't over.
The season is far from over. Our unbeaten run's over.
Yeah, unbeaten runs over. Yeah, we can't match Wenger's
No.
Invincibles. But we lost only 1-0 against the best team in the country at the
Yep.
moment. We lost 1-0 against them. They've got Isak, but the season isn't
Nope.
over.
We've also got some really exciting players, and I think they're still bedding in. But once they're all, used to each other, I think we've still got let's not forget our excitement before the season started, just because we've lost one game. We've got some really exciting players. We've had such a good transfer window, really. I wish we'd got
Yeah, I
Isak.
think I think the only thing on that, and it's like my dad said, it was a mention again, is that you bought all these attacking players and then you didn't
Yeah.
play them.
Yep. And that is frustrating, isn't it?
You know, it's like Eze. You know, I know it's his first couple of weeks at
Mm,
Arsenal, but you've got to play him. I think in a game like
yeah.
that, he's obviously played at Anfield before because he's for
Hmm.
Palace, so he's used to the big
Yeah.
occasions.
Yeah.
So
Throw him in.
I just think Arteta will rue the day he didn't play him.
Yeah.
I think, and I hope he doesn't rue to see that day because that means we've lost the league. But I do think if it comes to the end,
Mm,
and they always say like the big results are worth six
yeah.
points. It's one of those that if that cost us the
Mm,
season, and I'm not, it's a bit early to say
yeah.
that, but if it does, then obviously that's going to come down to not playing an
Yeah.
attacking minded
Absolutely.
match when he should
Yeah.
have done.
But let's not give up yet. Come on, we're only 3 games in. Let's have some let's have some positivity. This is not over.
Yeah, it's all about the next
Yeah.
game. It's onwards and upwards, and we will hopefully get a result at
Yeah, we
Forest.
can do that. And then we got Champions League after that as well.
Yeah, look forward to that. What do you think about the draw?
I will be very honest and say I'm not across it.
You're not across it. We've got
I've
a
missed it.
few good
Yeah?
teams. Um, but I think we'll be all
Yeah?
right.
Good. It's doable.
We've got Athletic Club, then we got Olympiacos, Atletico Madrid, then
Mm.
Slavia, Prague, then we've got FC Bayern, then Club Brugge,
Okay. We got some toughies in there.
and then finally we have Inter Milan and then
Right.
Kirat or whatever they're called. I don't know who they are. Should get a result there.
Because you don't know how to say their name.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfectly reasonable. Yeah.
I'm just gonna call them Karate.
As long as they don't karate chop us. But I think,
No, that's
yeah.
it. Yeah, that's their podcast. We're called the Saka Punch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, like I say, we can do it. We've got some toughies in there. We've got a couple of toughies, but yeah, we can hold our own, I think. But that'll be a whole other thing.
Yeah. What's your expectations in the Champions League then? So what round is acceptable?
I mean, semi, that would be good, wouldn't it? I mean, final would be even better. Where did we get last time? Was it quarters or semis? It was a semi, wasn't it? So, I think that's pretty respectable. I say that because I went out of a comedy semi-final last week. So, semi-final's pretty good, isn't it?
The latter stages.
Yeah, exactly. What about you? What would you be accepting of?
I'll always want to win it, but I do think semi-finals, depending who we come up against,
Yeah,
is an acceptable
yeah.
stage.
And
I'm really hoping that Tottenham go out in the group stage or the league
they
phase. Sorry.
will. It's nice to see them get beaten as well this weekend. The Arsenal couldn't do it for us, but at least we showed a chink in the new Spurs armor. That was good to see, wasn't
Yeah, my Spurs friend, my close Spurs friend, who's he didn't really have much to say when we
it?
lost against Liverpool, just because my comeback was you lost against Bournemouth.
Well, yeah, we lost against the league winners. So yeah, no, they don't have a leg to stand on at the moment.
Well, okay, so 1-0 Liverpool.
Yeah,
Disappointing, but there's some positives to take away.
definitely.
We will hopefully get a result at Forest, as I said. But that's it for another episode of Saka Punch. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thank you for listening. Speak to you soon.